Which way you want to go?
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much. Where should we go?
How long the train is?
When is it?
Hey, and the whole reason of existence is
What do you think, bud? I think for mommy and
Right, a few safety rules. Please remain in your seats at all times while the train is in motion, and avoid walking about in between the passenger cars or changing seats. Please do not open any windows that are not already open. Please avoid messing with any window shades as they are old and fragile.
You want to come next to it? What's that? So this is not interesting? This is more cool than the aquarium?
Oh, my first time no microphone.
I saw it before.
You guys want, we can go to the one in Nashville and do it right.
It was like,
We can go on a mystery tour. One where they can find that happens, where the detective tries to solve it.
when you got off the stroller, it reminded me of when we took Ginny on the train and when we got the stroller, we came back and somebody had taken it.
Oh yeah.
She's like, oh, that's amazing.
I remember that so well. That was at the zoo.
Yeah. She doesn't even remember it. Yeah. And I know that I was the end of the I brought a scale the other day and I'm like, well, I already got two. Nope. That way you had a
that's what mine
You're on a third. Turn taking. That's how they turn the trains. You go on a track.
All aboard! All aboard!
We are about to depart Barber Junction, the building on your left. The building was built in 1898 and is very similar to passenger stations in small towns across the country through most of the 20th century. Railroad stations were centers of commerce, handling passengers, mail, and railway express agency freight, which is today UPS or FedEx. Our train today is similar to those of the 1950s. Right before the train moves, you'll hear the engineer blow the horn. 2 long blasts like this mean the train will move forward, and 3 short blasts like this mean the train will back up. Train crews use the horn as well as hand signals, lantern signals, and radios to communicate with each other. As we shove north, the tracks out the right side of the train belong to Norfolk Southern and are part of the route between Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, we are exactly halfway between the 2 cities, 300 miles each way. That is why Spencer shops are located in this precise location. Amtrak trains also run on these tracks and include the Piedmont, the Carolinian, and the Crescent, which run as far north as New York City and as far south as New Orleans. The first tracks were laid here in 1850 by the North Carolina Railroad. Before the Southern Railway opened its Spencer shops in 1896, all that was here was farmland and trees. The town of Spencer, like the shops, was named for Samuel Spencer, the president of the railroad. Railroad workers at Spencer had a different living arrangement than textile mill workers in this part of North Carolina. Mill workers generally lived in a company house, shopped at the company store, and made less money than comparable railroad jobs. Rent, utilities, and store items were taken from their wages. Southern Railway employees living in Spencer owned their own house, shopped in the publicly owned stores, and enjoyed higher wages. Railroad jobs were hard to come by, which led many employees to work between 30 and 50 years before retiring. Many families had several generations working at the same time at Spencer shops. those tanks up, water had to be pumped in all the way from the Yadkin River, which is 4 miles away to the north. Next to those tanks is a small red brick building. Don't let its size fool you, because it was one of the most important buildings here at the shows. It's called the Transformer House, built in 1914. That building housed the controls for all the electrical power distribution through the shops as well as through the town of Spencer. In 1990, this structure was restored, and today it is one of our restaurants. Coming up on the right side of our train, you will see a medium-sized red brick building. That's called the Master Mechanic's Office. Built in 1911, the Master Mechanic's Office held the offices of the Master Mechanic, the payroll clerk, office clerks, and the officials of the Danville Division of the Southern Railway. Today, it houses our administrative offices and the gift shop, which we call the gift station. The gray building behind the Master Mechanic's Office is believed to be the oldest building on site. It is called Warehouse Number 3. Built in 1896, it housed the Master Mechanic's Office until it moved to the MMO in 1911. From that date to this, it has continued to function as a storage facility as well as an area for special events. The last building in this line is the metal building that has all the windows in it. It is called the Flue Shop. Built in 1924, it was used to store and repair the flues of a steam engine. A flue is a tube that allows heat and smoke from the firebox to travel through the boiler, thus heating the water to make the steam to turn the locomotive's wheels. A steam locomotive could have anywhere from 200 to 350 flues inside its boiler. Today, the Flue Shop houses our museum's antique automobile collection. The next building we come to is a smaller red brick building, which will be directly on the right side of our train. This building is called the Oil House. It was built in 1913, and though its building size doesn't look very large, the basement alone was built large enough to hold 5 large oil tanks, each capable of holding up to 52,000 gallons of oil. Every train crew was required to stop there and pick up a supply of oil before going on a mainline run. As we pass our fence line, we are now off the museum property and are now passing through the Spencer Freight Yard used by Norfolk Southern. There were once many more tracks here, including a 15-track classification yard and smaller yards for stock pens and less than carload freight. By law, animals transported by rail had to be removed from the cars for feeding, water, and exercise every 24 hours. This was done in stock pens, both covered and open, that were located in this area of the site. At one time, a law in Spencer did not allow freights to run on Sundays unless livestock was being carried. When the railroad needed to operate on Sundays and no livestock was available, they turned to their pet mule, named Maud. She was kept right here at these pens for this very occasion, and would ride the train to fulfill the requirements of this law. Later, when a small steam locomotive was rebuilt to move other locomotives around the Roundhouse area, it too was affectionately named Maud. Past the stock pens were the transfer sheds, where freight shipments too small to fill an entire rail car were transferred between cars carrying shipments to many destinations. These included dry and canned goods on their way to shops, farmers' orders for tools and seeds, and large catalog orders including entire homes. Up to 350 freight cars moved through this facility every day. Both the stock pens and transfer sheds were torn down in the 1960s. As you see out the right side of the train, the Spencer Freight Yard is still in current use. The tracks in the South Yard are all that remain of the receiving and classification tracks that once made up the huge yard here at Spencer. This area is still active today and is used for the Salisbury Switcher. The Salisbury Switcher is a local train which takes cars staged from the main line to private rail sidings at different companies all along this section of the Southern Rail. You may see its 2 diesel engines as well as its caboose out the right side of the train. We have now reversed direction and will be headed back to Barber Junction. As we continue down the rail, if you will look out the left side of the train, you'll see a rather odd-looking concrete building with a tower on it. This is called the Sand House, and it too was built in 1913. The Sand House was used to dry screen and store the sand used on locomotives. Today, sand is still used for traction in wet or icy conditions when traveling up a steep grade or even when pulling a heavy load from a complete standstill. Today, our sand house is not in use, but still stands here in the south of the yard. When a freight train arrived at Spencer, the locomotive would be cleaned, serviced, and inspected. Workers washed the locomotive with a mix of steam and a cleaning solvent, refilled the water, coal, and sand, and thoroughly inspected the entire locomotive. Any defects would be noted on a card, and the locomotive would either be put on the ready tracks to return to service or moved inside for repairs. The Roundhouse was used for the majority of repairs, while the back shop was for overhauls and major work taking more than 3 days to complete.
and explore the exhibits at the Roundhouse. But please note this is the last train of the day, so if you left anything back at Barber Junction, you'll have to walk back to get it. But it's been our pleasure to ride with you today, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.
The 100-foot electric turntable allowed locomotives or cars to be moved into any one of 37 bays here at the Roundhouse. If you would like to ride our turntable, it only costs $1. All you have to do is head into the Roundhouse orientation room and you can purchase your ticket. Today, the Roundhouse not only holds exhibits, but it still continues to be a functioning roundhouse as we use it to restore engines, cars, as well as maintain our fleet of rolling stock. Site known as the Canyon. If you look out the right side of the train, the large building we are passing now is the back shop. It was built in 1905 for heavy repair and complete overhauls. It is as long as 2 football fields and can fit 15 locomotives at one time. It is now an exhibit building, which includes antique fire trucks, larger vehicles, including our Piedmont Airlines DC-3 airplane that is currently under restoration. You will also notice on the left side of the train, those same 3 buildings we passed earlier. The flue shop, warehouse number 3, and the master mechanic's office. Almost arrived back at Barber Junction, where our train ride started. Please stay in your seat until the train has stopped, and don't forget your belongings. If you don't feel comfortable going down the stairs forward, please turn around and go down backward, like a ladder. This train ride has been generated solely by volunteers. While they have been certified to Federal Railroad standards, they are donating their time to provide this train ride to museum visitors. Please feel free to thank them as you depart the train.
This is the Roundhouse.
Let's go towards the voice.
Oh, do you? because I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Just so sorry. It's
Oh, no, it's all right.
Thank you so much. Good.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Brian, today's riders here. We have 2:30 is our next ride. The lady in the blue jacket over there, she's on 69 ride right there. All right.
Thanks.
That's fine.
So now walk up the ramp past the railroad station.
Yep.
That side, walk all the way through, you'll come out over here on this side. We'll do a turntable ride shortly if you want to ride the turntable, or you can watch. It's right here in the middle of the roundhouse.
I've seen them before. Basically everything that's here, I've seen it. So does North Korea. Sure, I know. I know, after you.
I bet your mom be so tired of every day. Who's that?
why I don't give up ever. These are classics.
Just keep out of painting. And maybe the deck lid.
running today?
Freight trains and a couple Amtraks.
So y'all are gonna get it. Oh, you're gonna take a video of it from here.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, there's one coming right now. Oh, just that tree.
That's what I said to him. Mr. Brainman, please don't throw me down. Mr. Brainman, please don't throw me down. Mr. Brainman, please don't throw me down. I fit this guitar, but I'm sad for the sister bound. Going down the road about 90 miles, I run across another hobo. Guess what he told me? He said, you know that Indian yet? Got a little house siderator on the track. His wife is in there. Every time he passed by, he called his wife on the whistle. Guess what he said? Tell me. Tell me, this is baby for me. Tell me, this is baby for me. Don't find him, reach over, got the bell. Guess what he did on the bell? Dear James Sang, dear James Sang. Dear James Sam, dear James Sam, dear James the same thing for me. Dear James Sam, dear James Sam, dear James Sam, dear James the same thing for me.
trailer was an original OD trailer that was purchased brand new.
they needed were locomotives that could be used on mountainsides to bring down the
every day.
$4,000 to obtain the car for historical preservation. Restoration was completed in 2007, and now number 89480 welcomes visitors aboard as a permanent exhibit at the North Carolina Transportation Museum in Spencer. And what visitors see when they look at number 89480 today is what soldiers saw as they boarded it during the latter days of World War II. And at long last, it has arrived at its final stop.
Stop thinking and follow me, cried Hitler. I will make you masters of the world.
The year is 1941, and the United States watches closely as the Nazis and their allies swarm through Western Europe, leaving a massive wake of destruction and absolute terror. But with a vast ocean separating America from this escalating chaos, a precarious veil of security envelops the country, only to be unexpectedly and violently pierced when the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
And so began America's involvement in World War II. It was a time of great sacrifice, great struggle, and ultimately, great victory. Heroes were born on the battlefields of Europe and on the seas and islands of the Pacific. But there was another place where heroes reigned, on the railways that crisscrossed countries and continents, connecting Americans wounded on the front lines with the medical care needed to save their lives. the U.S. Army hospital trains, and medical personnel.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
As you come in,